So we really finished. Your Excellency, we are ready for the last photo. There we go, Your Excellency.
We thank you for what you're doing for our country, the diaspora community. You play a huge role in developing our nation. Diaspora remittances now have overtaken the traditional tea, tourism, and so forth, and horticulture, which for the last 30, 40 years have been the leading earners of foreign exchange for Kenya. So remittances now are scaling up towards 500. It's past 400 billion. I think it's past 500 now billion. Our target, of course, in the manifesto of Kenya Kwanza is to get 1 trillion remittances. So we place diaspora in a very special place because you are helping develop our country, and we value that input. And therefore, the things you've said here, it is in our interest as a country to unlock all of them without exception. In fact, I was expecting more issues. You raised only 4. And I want to assure you, we will resolve them in the shortest time possible. We'll resolve them as short as possible. Lakini German, acha kuniambia Monday. Today is Saturday night. I don't know what miracle do I perform on a Sunday and get responses on Monday. I think you're being unfair to me. So we will resolve all those issues you have raised and the others that will come. We want to expand the opportunities for Kenyans here for the future benefit of the both countries, Namibia and Kenya. This is a special country for those who have looked at our historic relationship. So we will resolve those issues. I don't need to repeat them. I have heard, I was writing notes there. So I will not even wait for Balozi to give me the notes. I have taken the notes myself. So I will convene all those who are involved, including the little matter that you're saying concerned my former duty station. By the grace of God, now I can convene anybody except one person in the country. So it will be done. Consider it done. Interest rates, for the first time last week, all the major banks, Equity Bank, Cooperative Bank, all of them, Tier 1 banks, they have reduced interest rates by somewhere between 1.5% and 3%. The good news is that the interest rates are going to drop further in the coming months, opening credit to private sector, expanding the economy, creating jobs, and helping the country to grow. So other than the strength of the shilling, the strength of the currency, interest rates are major macroeconomic variables that could take the country in the wrong direction or in the right direction. The third intervention is import cover. When President Ruto took over, we had, to use a layman's language, we had no dollars. The dollars were not available, isn't it? Because you need a certain foreign exchange reserve to cover imports, to cushion the economy from price volatility. So right now, for the first time in almost 20 years, we have an import cover of more than 6 months. In other words, even if you shut the economy for 6 months, we have enough foreign exchange to import anything for 6 months, even if the economy was shut. This has not been achieved in a very long time. When President Ruto took over, price of essential commodities were very high. The price of the 2 kilo packet of unga, 230, 240, 250, depending on the brand. Today, 100, 110, 120, 125, depending on the brand. For you who is earning some good money, the price of unga really, even if it increases by 50 shillings, you may not feel it. But to the households that consume this staple every day and that earn their incomes on a daily basis, it means a lot. The price of fuel, Kenyans had started queuing for fuel in 2022. By July 2022, the Kenyans in Namanga were buying fuel in Tanzania. The ones in Moyale were buying fuel in Ethiopia. The ones in Western Kenya were buying fuel from Uganda. True or false? Today, that has been addressed through very painful and popular decisions. We have been able to arrest, contain macroeconomic stability. Going forward, we want to keep an eye so that those variables are not reversed again. And you may want to know what took Kenya that direction was actually COVID-19. When the economy was shut for 1.5 years, nobody was working. That is what really almost took Kenya to the cliff. Today, the price of fuel, the price of essential household commodities, the price of, the strength of the shilling, interest rates, interest cover, under control, macroeconomic stability. Those are the ideas we have. We may not have perfect ideas, but we have an idea of what we need to do to take the country forward. And we are asking those who are of a contrary view to give alternative policy positions. We must stop this trivialization of a national discourse into tribes and I don't know which other thing and small issues. I would want Kenyans who disagree with us, political people who disagree with us, to say, this is the policy position on this issue, on macroeconomic stability. Our alternative policy position is this one. On health, this is what Kenya Kwanza is doing. This is our alternative position. That's how you mature democracy. So we are slowly heading there. And we are prepared for the repercussions because transformation is costly. Wherever it has happened, it has happened at great cost. And now that our countries are free from colonialism, the freedom that we seek for our people is freedom from poverty and need. And therefore, sisi tuko tayari, we are ready. So some other people telling us, I don't know, we'll serve for how many terms? As if I didn't hear President Ruto says how many times he wants to serve. But as long as he's president of Kenya, he must do whatever it is to do the heavy lifting for the country. And it really doesn't matter how many years somebody serves. What matters is the quality of leadership and the transformation and the impact they make to the lives of people, especially people who are vulnerable. So we are ready. We appeal to the intelligentsia, the professionals, to help us with ideas. We'll be engaging even with professional bodies back home. That's also part of my job description. Because sometimes many of the people I talk to, professionals, say they have not been engaged, which is unfortunate. So because again, my work is to backstop the president because he can't be the vision bearer and doing everything else. I am that other person. Whatever he is unable to get time to do, that is now my work. So mnielewe. Mnielewe too. That's the way I understand my job. Unless somebody has another way. That's the way I understand my work. My work derives from the president's office. Whatever is unable to get time to handle, I'm the one to come there and fix whatever. Struggle with issues, stalled projects, trying to get the ministries work together. Because some people, you know how government is. You know, some departments are fighting there over tough and protectionist tendencies. So my work is to clear the way and make sure that government delivers. And we are listening. It is not true what some of our detractors are saying. We don't listen. We are listening a lot. And I carry my notebook wherever I go. And I take my notes myself. I take my notes myself. Because there is no room for excuse. And I write notes, whether it is His Excellency the President addressing an event, or it is a mwananchi talking, or it is a local leader talking. I write my notes because mumeona hiyo? Yeah. Because I think how else do you build a country? You must listen. Listen to the farmer, listen to the professional, listen to whoever, including our political opponents. Actually, they are helping us perfect some of the imperfections that we have in some of our programs. Yeah. My only problems and our problem comes when we go petty, we go low, and start discussing small other things that are not policy and they are not the benefit of the country. So, so I think we leave it there for now. I really look forward to working with you, Mr. Chairman, sir. We will resolve those issues. It is our business to make sure you go home with your cars, isn't it? It is. I don't even know what we are discussing. It is our business to make sure you get your birth certificate for your children and their passport renewal in a dash, isn't it? It is our business to finalize the MOUs on health and skills transfer in the shortest time possible. Na hiyo labda nitakuwa najibu Monday. Ile Monday ya chairman, labda nitaanza hapo. Isn't it? So it is, I mean, in fact, I came here, I thought you will have 100 difficult things. No, for the next meeting. I think that's a politician. That's a politician. So it's our business. It's not, I mean, it's us who should be struggling, not you, because I have already said you are now helping build the country. You are the number one support system for the country's economy. Allah? Yeah. Yeah. Tulikuwa tourism, coffee, tourism, tea, horticulture. Remittances zilikuwa number 4. It kept on shooting from 4 to 3, from 3 to 2, from 2 to, yeah. So we will support you and we want you to feel proud of your country and feel that the people who you have entrusted to run the affairs of the country meanwhile. Yeah. Whatever little things that perhaps you want them done differently, just give us feedback. Because government is a human endeavor. And there is no human endeavor which is perfect, including what you do. You don't do it perfectly, do you? Yeah. So government is a human endeavor, and all human endeavors are not perfect, but they strive for perfection all the time. I owe you an explanation of what we are doing back at home to transform Kenya and make it better. Because all said and done, you're Kenyans. Kenya is your homeland. Kenya is your homeland, isn't it? Yes. So we owe you a duty of explaining to you what we are doing as the current stewards of the country's affairs. We are determined under President William Ruto to transform Kenya and make it better. And we are encouraging all Kenyans to support President Ruto, support the government, because we have some ideas. These ideas are not just ideas from nowhere. We have a manifesto on which we were elected. And in modern democracies, the manifesto document which a government is elected on becomes the operating framework for the country's development. The problem we have in our country sometimes we politicize things so much so that even after election, those who get into office don't follow through what they said in their manifesto. It's macroeconomic stability. You cannot transform a country when you have an unstable macroeconomic environment. When you have a country where, for example, the cost of essential commodities like foods keeps on skyrocketing, where the strength of the national currency keeps on, fluctuating, where interest rates that help sustain private sector stability keep on increasing, where inflation is increasing at very high rates, you cannot do much. It doesn't matter the interventions you make in agriculture, in health, in whatever. So long as you have not stabilized the macroeconomic environment, you will be like, working in futility. So we are very keen. In the last 2 years, President Ruto and his administration has worked extremely hard, made painful and unpopular decisions to ensure that we arrest the volatility of our macroeconomic indicators. What are the macroeconomic indicators? I can mention just about 5. One of it is the strength of the shilling. When President Ruto took over, the value was decreasing by the day, if not by the hour. In the morning, it is 165. In the evening, it's 166. Tomorrow morning is 167, and so forth. For the past 14 months, the shilling has not gone beyond, it's somewhere between 127 and 129, around there. For an ordinary Kenyan, at individual level, it doesn't mean much. But the basis for us to take Kenya to the next level and make other interventions successfully is in when our currency is stable in the long term. And the good news is that the shilling is going to drop. I mean, the value of the shilling is going to increase. And the dollar, the exchange rate against the dollar is going to drop in the coming months. The revitalization of key value chains and the micro and small and medium businesses, out of which the majority of the people of Kenya derive their daily income. Over 90% of the people of Kenya get their daily income from agriculture, livestock, fisheries, and the blue economy, and other primary sectors like mining. If you combine Kenyans who earn a living from agriculture, livestock, fisheries, and mining activities, almost 90% of the people of Kenya are covered. Those are the sectors we are transforming to make sure that those sectors bring more money to the pockets of Kenyans. Again, through very difficult, painful, and unpopular decisions. I'll give one example. Subsidized fertilizer. When President Ruto took over, the government was subsidizing millers because the price of unga was going haywire. You give millers some money so that they mill and sell their unga at a lower price, forgetting that millers do not produce maize. You can't sort out the country's food security problem using millers. Millers have no farm. Millers, they just wait to buy maize from wherever. So we changed that and said we are going to subsidize production. Put quite a bit of money to make sure subsidized fertilizer, which was 7,000 cups to 2,500. That intervention alone, including certified seeds, and of course God gave us good weather, has given us a near agrarian revolution in 2 years. For the first time this year, Kenya will not import 1 bag of maize. It has never happened. When we took over the first month, one of the things the cabinet did under the chairmanship of President Ruto was to issue licenses and permits for people to import maize. And we imported 12 million bags of maize in 2022 to cushion the country from hunger. The following year, we imported 10 million bags. This year, 0. We have enough production. The same with sugar. What did we do? Brought in a new sugar law, reviving the factories to make sure that you pay farmers, you pay workers, and so forth. And writing off the debts, the historical debts, giving sugarcane farmers fertilizer for the first time. Today, we have narrowed the importation gap. Kenya used to be under the mercy of something called COMESA safeguards. We are to appeal to be allowed to import sugar for the last 22 years. Our uptake of sugar is about 1 million metric tons every year. We have produced 920 metric tons. If there will be importation, it will be a very small figure. For the first time, I can go on and on and on. The earnings from tea, 2022, 160 billion. Foreign exchange. 2023, from 160 to 181 billion. 2024, from 181 to 210 billion. If that is not progress, I don't know what it is. Coffee. The earnings to the farmer for 1 kilogram of cherry in 2022 was 60 shillings average. In 2023, it rose to 80 shillings. In 2024, it rose to 101. In our manifesto, we had provided that we will assist farmers to get what we call guaranteed minimum returns. For coffee, for example, if I can just use coffee, our GMR, guaranteed minimum return to the farmer, was 100 shillings. We have already reached there. And we are working to scale it up. So we are on course. I can talk about rice and wheat and nuts and everything else. To a casual analyst, these interventions in cotton, sunflower, wheat, maize, they look abstract. They don't make a lot of sense, especially to professionals like myself. But that is how you transform a country. If you add value and revitalize the sectors where the majority of the people derive their daily bread, then you cushion the country from the shocks of poverty.